I've always believed you can make any day the start of a new life. For me, that day is today.
Might seem a little sharp one. I'm sure you've heard it all before. I wonder what's the right form. Love song written for you.
I'd grown tired of the routine of my life. I wanted something new, even if that meant finding it alone. My first stop was Leo Carrillo. It was beautiful, but I'd hoped to surf and the waves were flat. 3 surfers tried and failed to make something of the ripples that came their way. Before I left, I met a man named Joshua with an Oregon license plate on his car. He told me he'd been all up and down the coast and described some of the places he'd found. We shook hands and I continued on, headed now for Ventura. I passed the nearby surf spot county line on the way. It was just like Leo Carrillo, beautiful, but too small.
Another time you felt so bad, and I wasn't in any help at all, as I recall.
The part of the drive to Ventura was my least favorite. You lose sight of the coast on that part of the highway. Not to mention, I kept thinking my board was going to fly off the car and cause a terrible crash behind me. Luckily, I arrived in Ventura without any casualties, and found some good surf too. In all honesty, I'm still a relatively amateur surfer. It was my first time at Ventura. That said, I had a few fun ones. After 2 hours in the water, I walked into town and found a cafe. While I was waiting for my sandwich and coffee, an older man sitting next to me struck up a conversation. I told him about my growing desire to travel, and he told me about his personal belief that the only thing that really exists is the present moment, and how, if everyone just accepted that, there'd be a lot less fighting. His name was Ken, and I was sad to see him go. So long, Ken. And now on to the next part of my adventure. I decided to head back to Leo Carrillo to check the surf. On the way back, I made several stops, enjoying the feeling of total freedom that came with an open road. Back at Leo Carrillo, the surf was still small, so I decided instead to hike. I wanted to get away from the rush of cars along PCH. I wanted to wander far, far up into those mountains. And so I began. At the top of the ridgeline, I stopped for a while. The noise of PCH had gone, and for the first time in a long time, I could think clearly. I knew this was what I was meant to be doing, exploring the world, watching the sun set over the Pacific, breathing in the cool air. I decided to hike down into the valley to see if I could find a lake that I had heard about. Once there, I sat down to eat my sandwich. Few things had ever tasted as good. I smiled as I looked out over the lake, chewing. Once I finished, I was off again. I continued down the trail. So I've been trekking down this mountain for a good part of an hour. I'm thinking that this would loop back around to the main path and that I'd be able to take that back down to Carrillo. But it looks like I'm at the end of the path here and there's nothing, it just ends. And I came from all the way up there and past. I just gotta find some way down this mountain. It's getting dark though, so I don't know. I'm still very, very, very high up. But I'll find a way. Okay, I don't even think you can see me, but I see civilization just down there. I've been hiking for hours in the dark. I'm so tired. Holy shit. I'm back. I made it. I fucking made it. I actually thought I was lost for a while, but I fucking made it.
Oh my God.